Hello YouTube! Today in the Naughty Librarian I'm going over my June TBR list. I am so excited for June. There are a couple books I definitely bumped way up my TBR list just because I really wanted to read them now and I didn't want to wait. So June is going to be like a month of books that like, I can't wait anymore. Like I need to read these now. But you don't need more of an intro. Let's just get into the books that I have on deck right now. First things first, I have A Prince on Paper by Alyssa Cole. This is part of the Reluctant Royals series, and I love this series, and this book just came out not too long ago, and I can't wait any longer to read it. Like, it needs to happen now. This is about Nyxia, which we met in the first book of this series. She's kind of like an African princess. And then you have Johan, who we were just introduced to. He's very much a rogue with a heart of gold, which is like my jam. Like those are the characters I always love. Like give me a rogue with a heart of gold any day. Like I will fall in love with them. And it's him and like very much nice girl Nyxia, who's kind of a very sheltered princess, and I'm like, I am all about it so much. Like I'm 110% shipping them so hard. Like I'm so excited for it. And also this is a fake relationship that becomes a real relationship story, which is also like, I freaking love that trope. I love it so much. It's like, oh, we're not really dating, we're fake dating, and then they fall in love for real, and it's my favorite. So basically this is made of things that I love in romances, so I'm so excited. I can't wait any longer. I am also going to be reading The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I'm reading this one mainly because, one, Christina Lauren, my girls, I love those authors. I will read anything they ever write. And two, look how summery it is. And I figured it's June, it's the beginning of summer, it's like the perfect like start to summer read. This is an enemies to lovers romance. It is basically at a wedding, the maid of honor and the best man, enemies. And then everyone at the wedding kind of gets mad food poisoning, so the husband and wife can't go on their honeymoon, but they're like, hey, we have these tickets. Do you want them? So Olive and Ethan, the maid of honor and the best man, they set aside their differences for a momentary truce so they can take this trip to Maui together. And, you know, I bet right now, without having read this, they're going to get to the hotel and it's going to be the trope where when you get to the hotel and, oh no, there's only one bed. Like, I bet that's gonna happen. 110% that's gonna happen, and I'm living for it. But yes, it's Christina Lauren. I love their romances. They're always like full of smutty delights. They're very funny. So yeah, I'm like way into this. And it's like a perfect summery read, and I'm really excited to get into this one. On the other side of romance, I have The Mister by E.L. James. So, E.L. James is the author of the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, and this is the first book she's written since that trilogy, I believe. And I actually got to meet E.L. James, so this is signed. However, I have no idea what she wrote in it. I'm sorry, her handwriting is very bad. I think he says, Amanda, he's here? I don't know, there might be an I. I can't tell what she wrote, but it's E.L. James. This is definitely probably going to be more of an erotic romance because, you know, 50 Shades. This is going to be a drama. It's about a very rich, I don't know, dukish type of guy in England. His name is Maxim, and he's very much like, you know, I got all this money and I never sleep alone. I'm this guy. And then, oh no, tragedy strikes and I have inherited all of my family's wealth and titles. And then there is a plucky young woman who's new to London. Her name is Alyssa, and there's a troublesome past here, and he wants to protect her. So I'm like, ooh, troublesome pasts, and it's London, and it's E.L. James, so it's gonna be dark and sexy. So I'm like, yes. I know, 50 Shades of Grey is not necessarily award-winning literature, but it is fun to read. It's legitimately a fun book because, like, even if the characters are stupid, like, you're like, you can't put it down. You're like, oh, what are these dummies gonna do next? I need to know. So that's how I felt about this series. It's like totally like a book that I know isn't good, but is very dynamically written, so I can't stop reading it. And I feel like this is gonna be more of the same of that, and I'm excited. So I'm definitely gonna read it. I wanna see what comes next for E.L. James. I can't wait any longer to read The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. I need it. I need it right now. Also, I do believe they made a TV series out of it that I just found out about, and I was like, oh my gosh, when did this happen? Oh my gosh, the end of June, I better read the book first. So I also like bumped it up because of, you know, extenuating circumstances. But I finally got the book, and I can't wait any longer to read it. Like, it's gone on too long. This is basically kind of a book, it's like James Bond, but with supernatural stuff a little bit. Basically, Rooks are secret agents, except they deal with the paranormal world, and we are following Miffany, and she is an agent, and she wakes up in a field of dead bodies, and she has no memory. So already starts off in a super cool place, and I've been dying to read this for so long, and I finally bought the book. It's finally time. Like, I can't wait any longer. I can't, like, wait to get to it. Like, it has to happen now. That's just how my life is. So I'm definitely reading this in June. I am proud to announce I'm going to read my first Grace Draven book this month. It's happening. It's happening, guys. Grace Draven is an author that is repeatedly recommended to me so often. And I've been dying to read her books, and I just hadn't yet because I didn't own any. And then my friend Leanna from Leanna's Library, I'll leave her link to her channel down below, she gave me a copy of Entreat Me, and this is kind of a Beauty and the Beast type of story, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a book! I have a Grace Draven book! I was really happy. Yeah, basically it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so there's not a lot I need to say about the plot necessarily. I feel like it also has like a dash of Taming of the Shrew a bit, because it's a story about two sisters rather than a woman and her father. It's about an older sister saving her younger sister from a beast, and then, you know, romance and love and stuff. And I've been dying to read a Grace Draven. I'm so happy. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna read Grace Draven this month. I'm pretty jazzed up about it. I am also going to be continuing on with the Kate Daniels series. This is actually outside of the Kate Daniels series, but it is important to read before the finale of it. So I have Iron and Magic by Ilona Andrews. I did skip May. May I just kind of ran out of time, so I didn't get to reading a book from the Kate Daniels series, so I'm picking it back up in June. And Iron and Magic is kind of a side story, but important to the overall story arc. This is about Hugh D'Ambre, who is a character from the Kate Daniels series, and he's always been kind of like a bad guy character, but he's very fascinating. So I do want to learn more about him and like what his story is, and there's a lot of extenuating circumstances that I'm not going to get into because, you know, spoilers, but he is striking out on his own, I'll say that, and he has all of these soldiers that he used to command, and he's trying to rescue them and like help them and all this stuff because bad things are happening to them because of him. And then there is a magical goddess and or witch type of character named Ilona, and they kind of team up to do something. And it also takes place in Kentucky, so a very magical Kentucky with like a castle in it. I mean, there is like a castle in Lexington, but it's, you know, it's not like a castle, not a real one. They like built it, but there's a castle there. So I'm like, does it take place in Lexington? Because that's where my boyfriend's family is from. And I freaked out a little bit. So I'm very happy that it takes place in Kentucky. And it also is, you know, magic. It is Hugh D'Ambre, who I'm very fascinated by. So I'm totally into the story. And I know that has important elements for the finale of Kate Daniels. So I do want to read this before I read the finale. Because I simply cannot wait any longer, I have bumped Aurora Rising up my TBR list to June. This is by Amie, Kaufman, and Kristoff. These are the geniuses behind the Illuminae series, and I absolutely love that series. It's one of my favorites. So when I found out they're writing a new, you know, sci-fi space opera, I had to have it. Like, I'm so hyped for this book. I don't have words by how excited I am for it. And the little blurb at the top should tell you kind of everything you need to know. It says, they're not the heroes we wanted. They're just the ones we could find. So it's about like a misfit group of spaceship people. A misfit spaceship crew. There you go. That's how you say those words in the correct order. Misfit spaceship crew. And they are on a mission, and they happen to find a capsule that has a girl in it named Aurora. And she has been in this capsule for like a couple hundred years. And they're like, oh shit. And she's like, oh shit. And so she's a girl at a time. And she is either the key to beginning or ending a intergalactic war. So all of that, and it's Amie Kaufman and Kristoff writing it. So I'm like so in. I'm so into this. I'm so excited to read it. I'm also going to read Four Dead Queens by Astrid Scholte. I am obsessed with the concept of this book. It's kind of like an odd couple buddy comedy. There's Carolee, who is a thief and a liar, and then there's Varen, who is very much like a Boy Scout, upstanding citizen. And somehow they get into a situation where they are put together. And one thing leads to another, and all four queens are dead. Oh no. So Carolee and Varen are like, well shit, all these ladies are dead. We gotta figure out what happened because we're in trouble. So it's kind of a detective sci-fi fantasy story, I think. And I'm like into it. Fantasy murder mystery, totally in. I'm loving it already. And yeah, I can't wait anymore. I need to read it now. I can't put it off, so it's happening. It's happening now. I'm also picking up The Brilliant Death by Amie Rose Capetta. This is kind of Italian-inspired fantasy, and I'm super into it. This is about a girl named Theodora. She is a strega, which is a witch, and she has the ability to transform people into objects, so she can transmutate people, which is a cool power. I don't see that a lot in fantasy novels, so I was super into like just the concept of her magic. And then, lo and behold, her father ends up murdered. So she disguises herself as a boy by turning her body into a boy, and she goes to the palace to find out what the fuck happened. So it kind of has like Mulan vibes, but it's also Italian inspired, and it's witchcraft, and it's transmutation, is all kinds of cool stuff all built into this. And this is like a weird cover too, because it's a sword, but it's also a feather. So I feel like that's like a little bit of transmutation type of thing. It's clever. So I'm really into it. I'm really excited for it. I have a physical need to read NickSIA Uprising by Scott Reintgen. This is the end of the NickSIA trilogy, and I'm so excited to read it. I absolutely loved NickSIA. It was one of my favorite books 2017, and then NickSIA Unleashed, the second book. I liked it. It wasn't quite as good as NickSIA, but still very good. It felt like a middle book. And this is the finale, so I feel like this one's going to pick it back up a notch. It's kind of hard to say what this is about because it is the third book of a series, but basically there is a company and they picked like a bunch of teens to train to mine this substance called Nyxia on this other planet. But Genesis is not all it's cracked up to be because it becomes wildly apparent that they are up to no good. They're going to double cross a lot of people. And the planet that they're going to mine this substance is fully inhabited by another race of people. So there's a lot of treachery and space opera-ness about it. And it's really good. It's really well written. And this is the finale. And I'm so excited to see how everything's going to shake out in the end. I'm also going to read Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the conclusion of the Throne of Glass series. And I have mixed feelings about it because I have had so much fun reading this series. I genuinely love all the characters. It's so well written. I absolutely love it. And this is the last book. Like, it's gonna be done. However, I think it's like over 1,000 pages, so I got a lot of book to read. JK, it's 984 pages, so it's basically 1,000 pages. So at least like for the finale, like I'm gonna get a lot of it. At the end of Empire of Storms, we find Aelin in a very bad predicament. And then I read Tower of Dawn, which has nothing to do with this story right now. And I made it through that so I can get back to this and find out what happens to Aelin because bad things were happening to her and it hurt my soul. I just want to see how everything's going to shake out. I want to see all the action. I want to see all my favorite characters come together again. I'm super excited for it. Like, I know I'm probably going to love it. Like, I've loved every book in this series. It's a rare thing where I say, like, every single book I have genuinely loved. Like, there's not one book of the series that I didn't like that much. It's all been great. So, yeah. I'm sad that it's coming to an end, but happy that it's going to be really good. So I'm kind of, like, bittersweet at the moment. But I know I'm going to love it, and I'm so excited I'm going to read it. Oh, I'm sad it's over, but I'm happy I read it. The last book I'm reading in June is still undecided at the moment because at the time of me filming this, we are still running our poll for the Wicked Spirits Book Club. So down here, I will write in the book that is winning because right now I don't know which one it's going to be. There are two books that are very close. So right here, it shall have the winning book. I'm going to be reading it for the Wicked Spirits Book Club. So when I said at the beginning of the video, this is the month of books I can't wait for, I wasn't joking. These are all books I literally can't wait any longer to read. Like, they weren't at the top of my TBR list. I had other books ahead of them, and then I was just like, nope, I need to read them now. You other bitches gotta move out of the way. I'm genuinely pretty happy about it because, like, I pushed all these books that I've been dying to read to the top of the list. So these are all, like, anticipated hyped reads. Fingers crossed they're going to be great. I'm really hoping. Also, I am doing a new thing where I'm doing 2 wrap-ups a month, so I'm going to do a mid-month and an end-of-the-month wrap-up, which I like better because I can talk about the books more, so be expecting 2 wrap-ups. Let me know in the comments down below, have you read any of these books? If so, which ones were your favorites, your least favorites? Let me know if you're going to be reading a book at the same time. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!